It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
We on a mission and that's bringing y'all the truth. You know the problem, but we get into the root. The devil watching, yeah, he always on pursuit. But Jesus is our rock, so we shall not be moved. We on a winning team, so we can't lose. We say facts, cause we hitting y'all with proof. Started from the bottom, now we standing on the roof. As God as our witness, we gon' make it to the moon. When you want the truth, the world be hiding it. This the real word, we providing it. We got Acee, BK, Truth, Rick Star, and we plan to make a movie like it's Pixar. We came a long way from the plantation. We just tryna save your souls from damnation. So if you down with the message, tune in every week. It will lead you to the message that you seek.
It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word. It's the real word.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to The Real Word Season 6, Episode 10. Shout out to everybody for watching. Shout out to everybody that's been supporting. Shout out to everybody that's helped us to get this far so far. If the vision looks a little bit different, it's because today we had to go old school, had to go back to the phone on a tripod, but that's okay. Shout out to everybody that has helped us to get this far so far. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, The Real Word 7, the Real Word 77 like Mike Vick. On Facebook at The Real Word Ministries Inc. and on YouTube, The Real Word TV. One word, The Real Word TV. I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself.
You already know it's the one and only AI in the building, Irving. Add me on Instagram, Irving11, no 11. That's not me, bro. No bueno.
And then we also got a familiar face, but it's his first time here for the new year. Introduce yourself.
Yo, happy New Year, everybody. It's your boy Ant. Happy to be here.
So shout out to everybody for watching. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting so far this far. So you guys already know every time Ant comes, we talk about politics. But he said this time this is not politics. This is about what, Ant? What you think this is about?
I think this is just all about pretty much white supremacy and how it's just embedded in our system. It's about white people telling you that they get to project their feelings however they want to. But you know, when you have a legit argument to make about social justice, they willingly decide not to hear you and they tell you, you know, whatever excuse they want to make behind it. And yeah, so
when you say that, you're referring to what in particular?
I mean, I'm referring to in a democracy, like, you know, the system of government we all decided that we were going to live under. There was an election. The result of the elections were certified, and the minority figured that they could just barge into the Capitol and force Congress to pretty much change the result of the election. It's like, it's absurd. It just doesn't make any sense. And then it's like, when you look at these people, they like literally thought, no, we're doing the right thing. Like, the election was stolen. You tell them you went to court like 69 times. You lost every time. And then they tell you liberal judges. It's like, it just makes no sense when it's like you play the tape 4 years ago. Those same people will tell you if you just mentioned that Trump won the election, but he won the electoral college, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote. They tell you, stop crying. Just accept the results and move on.
Yeah. And
then 4 years later, it's like, oh, no. The election was stolen. And if I say, yo, just the evidence is there, just follow the election, stop crying and move on, they just say, no. I have serious concern and you must address those concerns.
Do you think the election was stolen?
Hell no.
No.
Like, elections, period, bro, will have problems. It's human beings doing it. Like, if you look hard enough, you will find cases where a mistake was made here, a mistake was made there. Like, it's 300 million people, man. 300 plus million people. So you'll find a mistake here and a mistake there. Like, in 2004, like, there was 600 votes, man, being disputed. 600. And Gordon decided to give up and say, you know what? Forget it. We're not talking about 600 votes here, man. We're not talking about 600 votes. It's like, if since, like, what, September, Trump told you, if I lose the election, it was stolen, like, why are we still talking about it? This is like pre-made, like, he decided before this even happened that, yo, this is actually what the case is going to be. So it's like, it's complete lunacy, and it's like, it's
a script.
Just the fact that people actually went along with it, I'm like, I don't think people realize at this point how vulnerable the whole country actually is, because it's like, I don't realize that these people understood like what they were putting at play. Like, you had Trump supporters saying, "Where's Mike Pence? We need to behead Mike Pence." Like, this is failure of the government, period. Like, if you have supporters of the president saying, "We don't want this vice president and we're going to kill him," like, it's absurd. It's like, yeah, this is like literally not what happens in America. Like, literally not. But
it's like
but these people are telling you, "Oh, no, we're patriots and these are drastic measures, so we need to take matters into." Like, these people, like I said, man, like, I feel sorry for these people, period, because most of the senators who know the actual truth are just going on with it too. They're just saying, yes, election was stolen. Like, when the fact of the matter is, once the election was certified, there's nothing else to talk about.
But they weren't able to stop the vote because they haven't passed the vote yet.
No, once the election is certified, once all 50 states certify the elections, they turn in the electoral college votes. There's nothing else to talk about.
I know, but the day when it was supposed to be made official, that's the day they stormed the Capitol, so they never made it official.
Nah, they went back into the Congress to make sure they finished it that night.
They did?
They did. They finished it that same night. They went back, They went back that same night. I think they started at around 8 o'clock. They finished around like 3 o'clock in the morning. It was still like 7 Republican senators who decided to object. You know, they still wanted to talk. Some people in the House did the same thing, but it's like...
So they confirmed Joe Biden as president?
They confirmed Joe Biden as president.
What do you think? Do you think the election was stolen?
Yeah. I mean, I think all elections are rigged, personally. You know, because you know what they say. In politics, everything happens for a reason, and then everything was pre-made. So, I think it was rigged.
So do you think Trump really won?
Yeah, Trump really won. Come on, like, when he was doing all the debates, he was clouding Joe Biden. It felt like he was bullying him, like he was a little kid, like he took his lunch money every day.
But if you just base it on that, it's just like completely wrong. Like,
Biden
when you look at it, it's like Trump fumbled. Like, Trump had everything going for him until COVID hit, and he could have took a natural disaster. He could have decided to lead. He could have made that his whole point. He could have been storming into the election. Like, you're talking about 75 million. Like, this is what I'm telling you, Trump is a lunatic himself too, because he'll jump on Twitter and say 75 million vote, more vote ever by a sitting president, which is true. But he's not telling you that Joe Biden got 82 million votes. Like, what are you doing?
But they said that more people voted for Joe Biden than they did for Obama. He got the most votes in American history of any president.
But this is how. This is the turnout. This is the turnout that happens when you fumble a natural pandemic. When it's March, you're telling people you're telling people about pandemic. When you're telling people, oh, by April is gonna go away. We're into the next year, 350,000 people dead, and at this point, you can't even wake up every day to talk about it. At this point, Trump is just full on election. Like, we haven't heard Trump talk about anything about coronavirus in months now.
Because he's not a part of
months now.
He never was a part of it.
So it's like, but as the president, when you're chasing votes, you might have wanted to consider that. Mm-hmm. You might have wanted to consider that.
So he ain't doing enough for people.
Bruh, when it's like after the election and you're coming to talk about $2,000 checks, bro, the election happened already. Now you're trying to rig the election by offering $2,000 checks. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll take it, but the election still happened already. Like, these are stuff Trump had a whole year to start advocating for. Mm-hmm. Remember when I was here when I was telling y'all, yes, I understand he does not have the power to make laws, but he has influence where he could tell senators, this is what I want, go get it. He could have asked for $2,000 checks from March. Like, that's all Trump had to do. So I'm like, yo, people were telling him, some people in the administration were telling him, put a mask mandate, put out MAGA mask, have everybody, yo, he could have walked into November, son, smiling. Smiling.
But I don't think he wanted the job anymore, though.
He did.
Like, sometimes when I think about it, like,
he doesn't really need
especially what he was doing the other day, son. It's like, when you're telling people, like, yo, you have to be strong. And I'm like, at some point, it's like, is this really a joke to him?
Do you feel like...
It's like, what are you doing? Like,
what do you think about them shutting down his social media? Do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing? Because some people are saying that they should have shut him up because he was talking too much and he was risking the lives of people. At the same time, you got to understand, like, these is privately owned companies. And it's gotten to the point where these privately owned companies, they own your voice. As in, back in the days, you could get thousands of people together just by word of mouth, by going outside, meeting people, passing a flag, like, okay, we're going to march on Washington, stuff like that. Back then when they did the Million Man March, there wasn't no social media. It was all word of mouth, churches, and people was handing out flyers. They was doing what they had to do. But now everybody is online. Everything's online. Because of COVID, everything is online. So imagine if you had to go and tell somebody, warn them about something that's coming. And now these private companies are like, you know what? We don't like what you're saying. Or we don't agree with what you're saying. It's fake news. We're going to take it away from you. You're banned forever. Took away your voice. You're done.
I think you have a point.
Like that today.
I think you have a point, but only a little bit. Like, what I would say is it's bad precedent. It's because, like, of the basics of it. Basically meaning someone who doesn't like what you say and being able to censor you for it. Mm-hmm. Like, so I understand being against that. But as far as Trump is concerned, like, President of the United States, I understand, but this is like 4 years in the making. And it literally takes you just understating what happened this past Wednesday to say, like, this is not warranted. But, like I said, when you have the president of the country saying the vice president didn't have the guts to do what was necessary. Finish it. Like, it's absurd. It's absurd. It's absurd. Like, you're talking about someone who's been loyal to you, like, from day one, delivered the evangelical votes that you needed. Pence did that. Delivered them on the silver platter. Like, all the evangelical pastors, all the TV pastors that were talking bad about Trump. Yo, as soon as Trump put Mike Pence on the ticket, it was like, yes. Yes, you know, he asked for forgiveness. Yo, because Trump is, I said Trump, Pence is, Mr. Constitution, Mr. Bible. Like, you see him in any interview, he'll start by saying, Bible this and Bible that or whatever. He's not apologetic about the fact that he does not like gays. He tells you straight up, it's a sin. That's what the Bible says, and that's what I live by. Like, he cannot go stray away from that. He'll respect you, like he'll talk to you, but he'll tell you straight up, I do not agree with what you're doing. And I will pass laws to tell you that what you're doing is not good. And he tells you that straight up. Evangelicals love that. And Trump and Pence has been about that since day one, when he was a congressman until when he got to a governor. And now when Trump put him on the ticket, he delivered evangelicals, He delivered it.
So who do you think flipped on who first? Did Mike Pence flip on him first, or did Trump flip on him
nobody
first?
Flipped on nobody. I think at this point, Trump has been enabled for so long, I almost think he believes, like, whatever fantasy he makes in his head, I almost think he believes it.
And people believe it with him.
Yeah, like, Pence, literally, I told you, Pence is Mr. Constitution, man. Like, he'll tell you, like, he'll go, and he's went off the bridge with Trump on how many issues, like, defended him to the T. As long as he could defend it, he'll go with it. But when you're asking him to literally challenge democracy and go against the Constitution, it's like, I can't do it.
So what about that whole evoking the 25th Amendment that they want him to do? It don't seem like he's trying to do that neither.
Because he's still a Republican. He does not want that strain on the Republican Party, where it was the Republican Party that had somebody so screwed up that they had to invoke the 25th Amendment on their president.
Oh, he don't want to put that on.
He does not want to put that on the party. He's like, we could write this out. It's 13 days. So he does not want to put that on the. But once again, that's just his loyalty in the end. It's like where the man that literally sent a mob out to kill you, it's like he's loyal to the party. It's like, no, I'm gonna protect the party in that sense. I'm gonna forget what happened and I'm gonna ride it out. But that's Pence, and this is why, like, when people talk about right now impeachment, it's like, I really don't know how I feel about it, because I understand the accountability factor, but as much as I do not want to like appease to terrorists, where I'm like saying, like, oh, these people believe in this conspiracy and we should talk to them, as much as I don't want to, I understand, like, the blowback that it would actually get if Trump, and not just if, I think if they actually go through with impeachment, it would actually happen, even though they'll probably need 17 Republicans, which I don't know if they actually have. But at this point, anything is on the table, because, like, I'm telling you, Pence has been loyal to the Republican Party from day one, and after what Trump did Wednesday, a lot of Republicans are not going to forgive him for it.
But I feel like it's all a psyop. I feel like it's all a circus. Like, all of this is for show. As in, if you look at the videos, you see the police letting them in, and now the FBI has stepped in and they do investigations, and they're using social media to locate people, and a lot of people snitching. A lot of people snitching on the people that went down there.
No, you don't even need to snitch. Like, somebody was pointing out the other day, and I was laughing, like, yo, you can tell these are all the people that went to the Capitol, or all the people that, like, yo, COVID is fake. Because, bro, if you had a mask on, they wouldn't know who you are. You know, you could have went and go back home. But you was like, no mask, man. No mask. Like, son, even that.
It's that whole thing looked fake because they didn't have guns. They didn't wear masks. The police let them in, and they climbed the walls, bro. And they just walked right in.
But this is why I'm telling you.
You
like,
really telling me in the White House you could do that? Like, come on.
I think if it was a White House, like Secret Service, bro.
It doesn't even matter.
Secret Service will play that. Secret Service is not Capitol Police, son.
Yeah.
Secret Service will play that, son. Like, yo, they will blast as many of you as that pose a threat as
it don't really matter which building it is.
The Capitol building, generally, it is a public building.
It's the people's house. Literally, son. That's what the Capitol building is. Like, this is why the White House has a fence around it, but the Congress does not. Because they do not want to put a fence around the people's house. That's the whole concept.
Yeah, but still.
That's the people's house, son. So it's like,
I don't think they will.
I understand. It's like, in a democracy, I understand the freedom of speech. Yo, bro, these people had the, 100% rights, and they put in the paperwork to protest. They had 100% right to be in front of the Congress saying, yo.
Also, they were organized.
Yeah, I agree with this or I don't disagree with that. They could have done that, bro. The second they decided, yo, we are going to charge the Congress.
How much of them do you think was down there?
So at most, probably like 100,000 people. At most, son. Wow. And this is why I'm saying it's
at
like
least?
At least, I don't think it was any. At least probably like 75,000.
And they said it was only 500 cops or 300 cops.
Yeah, I mean, like this whole thing is like when it's investigated, people we will get to the bottom of it. But it's like this is why I started by saying like.
But there was a lot of cops in the group too.
Absolutely.
A lot of veterans.
This is why I'm telling you that it's white supremacy because it's these people were planning this for weeks. But I think like the people in power who are white just like those people identify with them. Some of them probably had the same belief and they were like, yeah, you know what? They're gonna come through,
because they know each other.
Yeah. And then there was like quote unquote, we're pro law enforcement, so all the cops are with us too.
Yeah, the cops was with them.
And a whole lot of cops was with them.
Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah, a whole lot of cops was with them. Until and I'm telling you, there's cameras all over the place. The officer that died, however he dies, it will be on tape.
Yeah.
And
that's the crazy part.
They're gonna keep it on the low for a while, but 6 months from now, 8 months from now, it will come out. And these are the scary things when I tell you the people who claim to be pro law enforcement, we're 100% for the cops. We give cops whatever they need. They were
Was it a black cop that died or a white cop?
A white cop. A white cop. Apparently he had they smashed him in the head with some kind of pipe.
Wow. Because he had no guns.
Yeah.
I wonder what he did for him.
He was trying to stop them from charging the building. And it's
But they literally used the terms because they were trying to get overnight cops to show up in the daytime, and they said by the time the overnight cops was about to come, they said Olympus has already fallen. That's what they said.
That thing was terrible. Listen.
And the police chief, he was like, I failed.
He had to.
But he's a fall guy.
The government, the Turkish government, son.
Yeah.
The Turkish government was putting out statements saying, we don't know why the Americans are behaving that way, but we hope they resolve their issues democratically. Yeah.
Are they sending shots?
Yeah, they're sending shots. Zimbabwe. We got sanctions on Zimbabwe right now. Zimbabwe was like, so the U.S. got sanctions against us because they say our elections were not democratic, but they can't even control their own elections. So they should lift the sanctions. That's what Zimbabwe said, son.
Africans, they're not
wrong. They're not wrong, son. They're not wrong. You should have saw the newspapers in China, son. China just ran with this, son. Look at this circus. Talk about democracy is the best. This doesn't happen in China. That's what they were printing on the papers, son.
The craziest thing I saw was the meme that showed hundreds if not thousands of people died so that this flag could never reach inside this building. And
it was just roaming around. And the crazy thing is, I saw the report today. They still can't get the guy's identity. It was like the FBI's asking for help to name him. The guy that had the big ass Confederate flag. So they still can't name him. But it's
because he was their king. Because he was like, basically once they get in there and they raise the flag, that means they symbolically, damn, I'm like Floyd Mayweather.
You gotta call the Floyd
Mayweather. But it's like,
I give you a Harry Potter.
But it's like they conquered that place. Like they raised their flag.
Yeah.
Like the best comparison that I had in my head was from Game of Thrones when they took over Winterfell and they took over the castle and then they dropped their flags down and took the other flags up. Yeah. It's like we took over your castle. Yeah. So it's like that's what they did.
Nah, but I think that's not really what we have to realize is like Trump has like polarized the film so much. It's like I think this was like numb to a whole lot of people in a whole lot of sense because like especially out here in New York City, like we still have to go to work.
Yeah.
Like we caught glimpses of it on TV, but the next day. We turn on the radio, but we still had to go to work too. So it was Wednesday, the next day was Thursday.
I didn't even know people died until later. It was like people died.
The day after that was Friday. It's like some people didn't even know what happened the rest of that day. Yeah. So it's like, yo.
You don't know who got arrested, what happened, if anybody died.
Down the line, it's like when people make documentaries, when people make movies, when people write books, it's like, when we have like real live account of what was happening that day, it's like we'll find out exactly how terrible it was. But it's like, like what I don't really understand is it's not just I guess I really don't understand it.
But it was mad groups of people that came together. You had the Trump supporters, you had the Confederate racists, you had the KKK. You had some Crips there.
That was like smoking weed. That was like smoking weed in the Capitol.
The Crips is winning, bro. The Crips been winning for the last few years.
They always with their antics.
They show up on the scene everywhere. Woo walking. I saw the video on World Star. They had a Crip dude there.
Everybody showed a picture of that. The picture of that black guy that they got in the bubble jacket.
Yeah. Like,
who cousin is this? I was like, who cousin is this?
Yo, the memes went crazy.
Crazy.
Man.
Crazy. This is what I'm saying, son. It's like something so dire, like the internet could like soften it up and make it seem so light. Like, we could roll with the punches, but it's like it just shows like
we wasn't prepared.
It's not just that we weren't prepared. It's like we're a democracy, son. Like this is like what we've decided to be, and a selected few thought that they were ready to like overthrow the whole thing. Like, no, we're gonna put Trump back. Like, it's like it just doesn't make sense.
A siege on the Capitol.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
But they were ready because they had bombs.
They found bombs. Like the whole thing.
They had sleeping bags.
The whole thing was crazy though. Son.
They had those vests. The dude had the zip tie strings. They was climbing up walls. It was like they was trading the whole quarantine, just trading.
How about the other girl that they saw coming out? It was like, what happened? She like, yo, I made it inside, and then they maced me. They're like, why you wanted to go inside? She's like, it's a revolution. We're storming the Capitol. It's like, yo. These people are losing their minds, man. I don't know, son. Trump just got these people hypnotized, man. Trump got these people hypnotized because I always tell you exactly how fair I am. I'll tell you I'll tell you exactly what Trump should be praised for. But I'm like, these people right here, though, they are literally ready to like do a revolution for more tax cuts for the rich when they're not rich, and deregulation so businesses can do whatever they want to do. And like this is literally what people want to like cause a revolution for. Like this is how much Trump doesn't care. After people found out the officer died, Mike Pence and Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden called the officer's family. I guess Trump had to be reminded at some point, way later after everybody, like, you should make that phone call. And then come to find out, tomorrow, or at some point after, he'll be in Texas so he can take a picture in front of his wall because, yes, they built...
It's a brick wall?
They built I don't even know. I guess it's going to be a big reveal, but he's going to show... There's a portion of the wall that they have in Texas, in Alamo, Texas. So there's a portion of it. So he's about to go stand in front of it to say, yep, this is what I did.
But there was a war with Mexico at one time. That's how they ended up with
this is what I'm saying. Like, everything that Trump got approved for, like, in his quote-unquote war, it's like reconstruction of stuff that was already there. Or it's like somewhere that there was a fence, they wanted to, like, redo the fence. But he's the president. He's like, no, we're not going to redo the fence. We're going to do the wall instead. And they say, okay, no problem. You're the president. But he's like, oh, no. I built the wall. And it's like,
but that's him, though.
That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Somebody like me, I'll tell you, you know what? You got it. I'll give you that.
He's like, you
built some wall. Okay, no problem.
He's like, what the Haitians call jaw left.
Yeah, pretty much, son. Pretty much. But it's like, at this point, but people still don't realize because, like, even when he was talking, people got to realize that Trump is mostly talk, no show, because he's like, yo, we're gonna walk to down Pennsylvania,
and we're
I'm gonna be right there with you.
Do you think that he thought those people
he jumped in his car with y'all
and watched out the window like? And they showed that it was like, and the president was nowhere to be found. But they better got Pence and all them out of there like 2 hours before he even got there.
Yeah, but
they knew it was coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but this is why, like, I think like Trump didn't just only shoot himself in the foot like the last year during the pandemic. He almost guaranteed that, like, even if he run again now in 2024, he's not gonna win. And he did it all to himself, son. He did it all to himself because even in November,
he got too cocky.
After he lost the election, he could have came out and said, "We lost. We should have did a better job. We're gonna come back in 2024. We're gonna be ready." And he could have just took that from there. He could have been a nuisance for the Democratic Party for the whole 4 years.
Because he still got a big following.
Yeah, because he still got a big following. But he had to be a lunatic, son.
But he showed his power, though.
Absolutely.
The ability to get all those people down there and run up in the Capitol.
But what I'm telling you when you say that, you got, not that if he didn't show his power, but I'm telling you, you got to be careful in the sense that, this is what Hitler got people to do. Yeah. This is literally what Hitler.
Remember I was talking about.
This is what Hitler got people to do, man.
Trump reminds me of Hitler.
Yeah.
Like he mimics Hitler.
Like
he's trying to be like him.
But some people say Hitler was much smarter than.
Way more.
He was way
more. Like his book, Hitler actually wrote that. Like Trump never wrote no book. Like he was just sitting down in the office, somebody else was writing. He was talking and he was saying, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." That's what he was saying. But Hitler actually wrote his book, like so, way more of an intellectual than Trump. But both of them lunatics, though. Both of them lunatics.
The main difference is that Hitler had the military machine behind them.
Pretty much.
And they just kept building stuff.
And don't forget, Hitler also had like the post World War I, so he had something to rely on where it's like the people were literally desperate.
Yeah, and he had hate in it.
Exactly.
They needed someone to blame.
Exactly. Not only they lost the war, they had to pay so much money. Yeah. So he was just able to say, this government is messed up, vote for me, everything's gonna change. And he just ran with that.
He did what he had to do.
Ran with that. Hell yeah.
So, do you guys think Biden is gonna do a better job?
I mean, I personally don't think so, but today when I was looking through, the internet, I seen that Biden so-called is trying to get up $2,000.
Yeah, he actually tweeted it, son. He actually tweeted it.
He's doing the reverse of what Trump was doing.
600 is not enough. We need $2,000. And yo, he has the majority. Right now, the only Democrat in the House who's saying no is Joe Manchin. But Joe Manchin is pretty much a Republican, son. He's just a Democrat because of the state, but he votes with Republicans most of the time. But I think with the situation right now, even though he's saying no right now, we could probably put enough pressure on him to say yes. But if not, we'll get one Republican senator to say, yeah, yes, the $2,000 check. We'll get one. So I think $2,000 is guaranteed. We're going to get that. Free health care, though, we might get $10,000 off student loans. We might. We don't know.
I thought he was going to figure the whole thing.
He said, he put it out 2 days ago. Biden put it out 2 days ago. But I still think these are like smokescreen. Like these are good things. Like I wouldn't say no to. I'll gladly accept them. But it's like
freebies.
Yeah, I don't think like Joe Biden is like gonna raise, the minimum wage. I don't think he's gonna advocate for free healthcare. Like
he's gonna raise taxes though.
He's gonna raise taxes on the rich, which I don't mind. I really don't mind at all. Some people like don't agree when I say this, but I'm not against taxes at all, because like everything that we do as a society, it costs money. But I really want everybody to pay their fair share. Like it makes no sense that rich people could get politicians to pass laws where it's like they literally don't have to pay their fair share off the back that, they're creating jobs or they're doing such and such. Like, I really don't care. Like, you're in capitalism. This is what you chose to be in. You're making your profit when you're in your pocket.
Don't pay taxes?
No, it's not that politicians don't pay taxes, but like somebody like Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, like Amazon did not pay any taxes, no federal taxes at all, because there's laws that, because he's providing so many jobs and so many opportunities that he's tax free on the income that he's making. And as a society, we should be against that. Like, like in a pandemic, you're raking in billions when there's people home not working.
Just like Elon Musk.
Yeah, billions.
And no one knows how.
Yeah, bro. Thank you, son. Thank you. In a pandemic, son, the stock market is doing just fine. Just fine, son. It's skyrocketing. And even Bitcoin, son, I can't believe how far Bitcoin has gone. But like, I still don't understand it, son. Like, I keep saying like it might crash one day, but bro, I was saying that 3 years ago. It started at $7? 3 years ago when I was saying that it was like $200 something. When I was saying that, it's 5 years now, and I'm still saying that Bitcoin is at $35,000. So it's like while I'm talking and I'm being scared, Bitcoin is just multiplying and making money.
I remember when Bitcoin
grab now.
Right?
Yeah, grab now before it's too late.
I remember when Bitcoin was $8. I'm like, like, this is too much for one coin. Bro. Like, the hell's a coin? I'm like, yo, they ain't trying to trick me. They're trying to get me to buy a coin for $8. I'm like, yeah, right.
But it's true though, it works.
Yeah.
But these are the things that I would hope that in the Biden administration we would have. Like, society is changing so much around us. Our school curriculum is so backed up. Like, there's nobody having these conversations where it's like, yo, we need to change our school curriculum, man. Like, we need to start teaching kids about the stock market in high school. Like, they need to know about these stocks. Like, like crypto. Like, why is it that we gotta go take a special class right now, pay money to learn about crypto, when it's like, literally, AI is taking over jobs. The government should be able to know that, okay, this is what we got to invest for the people, because that's what you're doing as a government. You work for the people.
Google has a school now.
Pretty much.
Where like you can learn how to be a Google coder and programmer. And you don't even got to go to college. Just go to a Google school, and once you pass, Google gives you a job working for them.
Pretty much, but that's what I'm saying. These people are making billions. They will offer that, and the people that do get through could just learn for free. I appreciate that. But these people still don't pay enough in taxes. They got jobs overseas to save money. Like, you're not gonna like fathom me with like crumbs when I know you're making billions under the table. Like, and this is the things that I would say, like, yes, I'm against Trump. And the things I know I'm against Joe Biden for too, because I know like he ain't gonna tell those big businesses anything. Like, oh, y'all wanna stay in China forever and make stuff even though we had a pandemic and we know we can't really just make everything over there. Y'all don't want me to bother y'all? Okay, I'm not gonna bother y'all. Y'all just do whatever y'all want. Like, and these are the stuff that I know Biden is not gonna fight for.
And it's proof that his son been getting bribes from overseas too.
Yeah, bro, this is what I'm saying, son. Stuff like that, Republicans are saying, oh, there's nothing. I say Republicans. Democrats are saying there's nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Bro, could you imagine if that was Trump Jr.? They'll be like, no, we need to have an investigation. This is what, when the Republicans say it, I say, okay, fine, do it. If you see something, go ahead, look at it. Investigate it. If you find evidence, let us see it. If he's guilty, take him to jail.
But look how much times they investigated Trump.
Bro, this is what I'm saying, son. Like, we can't have these double standards, and then people fall into it. It's like, if you're a Democrat, you're like, oh yeah, Hunter Biden didn't do anything. As a civilian, you're not a lawyer for Hunter Biden.
But a lot of
people, how you doing?
But a lot of people are mad because Donald Trump pardoned so much people, especially people that went to jail based on the whole thing.
Bill Clinton pardoned the same people that covered up for him when they was doing that investigation in Arkansas. What did people say about that? That's what I'm saying. So when it comes to pardons, like, we know presidents have those powers. We already know Trump was crooked. We already know Trump goes, if you go far down over here, Trump was going all the way low down over here. But in that case, Trump got a point. Because if you're masking the pig, just because you're putting lipstick on the pig and telling me, oh, it's a dog, and Trump is telling me it's a pig, I don't gotta respect you more than I respect Trump. Like, y'all the same people. Like, Democrats be doing effed up pardons the same way, son. So it's like, I don't even want to hear it at that point, because, politicians on both sides of the aisle, son, play around with their pardon power, son, at both sides of the aisle. So if we want to review that part, go ahead and do it. But if we're not going to do that, then we could just be quiet about that. Because as Trump being crooked, Trump is crooked. We know that. So we knew that like last year that he was going to do those pardons. So like last year, son. So it's not that, oh, I'm not shocked, but it's like, we elected somebody that was on tape saying, grab them by they let you do it. So it's like, he got through, so you're going to eat the cake the same way, man. Like, this is what Trump is. So like, as far as that, like, this is the power we knew he was going to have, so he could do, like, I really don't care. It's not that I don't care, like, I feel like for whoever's hurt, like, those people from Blackwater that he let out, that literally murdered kids and women in Iraq, son. And like, could you imagine, son, somebody, Iraqi came on American soil and killed people, and then he was in jail in Iraq, and then they decided to pardon him? The U.S. government would go crazy. The president felt like it was just fine. You know what? Y'all pardon.
Which president was that?
Trump, son. Pardon literal, son. Blackwater contractors, son. And like, people hate when I say that, but to me,
must have paid a heavy price.
Bro, the guy who's the head of Blackwater, Eric Pence, his Betsy DeVos brother, who Betsy DeVos is in Trump's administration. And he's a hardcore Trump supporter. So we knew those pardons were coming, son. This is like, ever since we saw Eric Pence in and out of the White House whenever he wanted, we knew those protests were coming. We knew they were coming, son. We knew. So it's like if people wanted to do something to stop that, they should have been making petitions. They should have been calling politicians so they could try to put some kind of pressure on Trump so he doesn't do it.
Do you think he's gonna pardon Lil Wayne and Kodak Black?
I think it's done already.
What you mean?
Kodak Black, yeah.
I think it's done already.
Yeah.
Once Lil Wayne took that picture, I think that was the deal. You remember 50 was on 105 saying, oh, they offered him $10 million. Yeah. They didn't, and 50 was like, Wayne got money. They didn't offer Wayne no money, bro. It was like, take that picture, you got a partner. Wayne was like, where's the Gucci sweater? Give me something to put on.
Nah, you're right though.
Now I get it. At first, I was upset at Wayne, but I was like, oh, for freedom?
Yeah. He's facing fed trial. He's facing like 10 years. 10 years.
I'll take a picture.
I want to take a picture.
And he has to self-publishing for cheap.
I'll take a picture. I mean, $100 million? That's good money.
Nah, that's cheap.
That's good money.
You don't think Lil Wayne could have held on and sell it for later?
Not they can, but those people who paid $100 million, son, they're probably gonna need like 15 years to make that $100 million back. And then another 15 years to
actually just hand it back down.
But this is what I'm saying. Like Wayne could have did that, but he felt like maybe $100 million more important to him right now.
He probably needs it right now.
Exactly. He probably needs it. Probably got lawyer fees, all of that. Yeah. So he probably needed the $100 million right now. But those people are not gonna make that money like right away. Yeah. So yeah, $100 million is not bad. Really, not bad at all.
Wow. And Kim Kardashian put in work and get a lot of people free too.
Hell yeah.
But they need free Big Meech.
I don't think they can. Like, you know,
Big Meech.
What Big Meech represents. The U.S. government don't want that. Yo, son, if you in the limelight, son, you black, and you're promoting like, you know,
selling drugs.
Nah, not just selling drugs. Like black excellence, really. Yeah. Like, you know, ownership.
Yeah.
Yo, they don't want to hear that, man. They don't want to hear that.
They want to attack you.
Yeah, they want to attack you. They want to attack you in every way. Yo, they literally let T out. And I love the fact that T is out. But bro, they didn't have no evidence on me, son. Everything. They had T on tape.
Yeah,
they had T on tape saying, go pick this up here, drop it off there. Yo,
he snitched.
Son, he didn't snitch. They had it on tape. They had his phone. They had his phone tap.
They said someone from BLF snitched though. They said that the people at the bottom started snitching.
Of course. Like somebody had to snitch for them to get a warrant to start the wiretap.
Yeah.
So there you go. So somebody had to snitch, but like even like when they got T, Meech could have ran. They said that Meech had a chance to run. He chose not to. He was like, nah, fuck it. This is why. This is why. Like they actually ended up making a deal with the government where it's like they pleaded guilty, they gave up money, and they got 30 years instead of life.
But they said Meech took everybody's time.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I told you he could have ran. He could have decided to run, and he had the resources. He had everything because they were always in different states, and he was in Atlanta, close to the port, where he could have just breezed down, go wherever he wanted, hop on the airport, wherever. He decided to stay. So, yeah. So because of that, when you're that defiant, they're gonna humble you down. The same way with OJ, you know?
Yeah.
When you're that defiant, they're gonna humble you down. But like I said, it's when you're black, because look at Trump right now, doing whatever he wants to do, and some people will be willing to defend him until the end, man. Until the end.
Yeah. So this will probably be the last question that we dive in right for closing thoughts. Do y'all think that Trump is going to jail? Let's start with.
I don't think Trump is going to jail, man. Like the man has a lot of money. He's a very powerful man as well. I think this is just all for talk and just for the media show, just to bring buzz, clout for people to talk about it. He's not gonna go to jail, man. They don't call him the Don for nothing.
I mean, I think he'll be protected up to a certain point. I think it decides how much of a nuisance does it decide to be after, January 20th.
So they could clap when you saying?
No, I mean,
like assassinate.
I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know because it's like, like I said, 75 million people did vote for him, son. Of that 75 million, after what he did the other day, he probably lost 25 million, I would say. But that's still 50 million people that he got with him.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gained more people.
Nah, no way. No way. Like, when you
He's that powerful.
When you challenge the very fabric of the institution, it's like.
But they're saying that the whole institution is corrupt. That's their point.
All the people that were saying, I don't agree with Trump, but I got tax cuts, or I agree with abortion. Like, when you inside a riot and people actually die, like. You will lose a portion of the population. Like, they just did not sign up for that. It's like I'll take the tax cut. Like, I'll swallow my pride for some things, but like, you're literally saying, let's turn this country into something else. Like, I can't ride with you on that. Because now we do that, then it's like 4 years later, you're gonna tell me why we need an election for? I'm the done. So it's like. You will look like at that point. People are gonna tell, "Oh no! I'm not for that."
He's trying to be the Godfather of America.
Yeah, pretty much. So
he's showing you he can do whatever he wants.
I mean, I think, but even those people that chose the Capitol, I tell you, it's white people telling you like, "This is our land. We can do whatever we want to do with it."
It's not even.
And this is where when you have cops, like literally, like when they had the resources. They could have prepared for this, and they did not feel a threat. It's like when we go in the hood and white people go in the hood. White people go in the hood, they alert like, yeah, they're scared of everything. You're like, yo, relax, ain't nothing happening. But you know your environment. Yo, these people were comfortable around each other, bro. Like literally, there's reports that there were feces on the wall of the Capitol.
Yeah.
Yet. There were cops taking selfies with those same people. Like, they were not scared.
Yeah.
Like, the only time you're not is really, literally when you could identify with the other person.
They didn't have any weapons. They didn't have no guns.
It doesn't matter. Yo, you saw the black officer that was trying to hold the crowd back?
He looked like he was scared for it.
He looked
like they was about to kill him.
Exactly, son. He was not taking selfies with anybody.
Nah,
he was scared. Exactly. Because he was not identifying with any of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here to protect this. Y'all not gonna come in here. Step back.
He started screaming and ran away.
Exactly. And you had other cops saying, "Oh yeah, go ahead. You want to take a picture? Yeah, fine. Take a picture. Take a picture." Yeah, it's like literally crazy. Listen, at the Labor Day parade, cops get suspended if they get caught dancing. Bro, at the parades, and if you decide to dance or something, they're like, no. You're here to do a job. You can't be doing this activity on the job. These people are literally taking pictures with the people committing the crime. It's like at that point, it's like they did not identify that as a crime, and I don't see no other reason behind it other than those people are white because.
Well, we did it. Stole the whole podium and walked.
Yeah, he got arrested. When we did it, we burned a whole precinct down, bro. And what were we asking for? We were asking for social justice. We were asking to be heard. Like, so stop being mistreated. These people stormed the Capitol because they feel like the election was stolen. No evidence. They telling you I don't need it.
That shows their power versus our power. That's why a lot of people's biggest argument is if there were Black Lives Matter people, it wouldn't go down like that.
Absolutely. And this is why I told you,
like, Dad would have started shooting, it would have been way more people dead.
Absolutely. This is why I told you, like, in the beginning, like, as much as I love talking politics, I think the bigger message in this for us Black people is realizing, like, these people are, like, going out of their ways to tell us, like, this is ours, and you don't get to talk. And literally what we're asking for is the same way those people felt like they were entitled to beat up the whatever police officer stood in their way. At that point, they felt like, no, we could change the police force. You need to step out of our way. It's the same way we're saying, We can't have laws in the police force that let cops get away with killing us. And they're telling us, you can't even make that argument. Be quiet. And then at the same time, they turn around and challenge the whole fabric of the whole country because of feeling. Those people are just letting you know, like, just my feeling is more important than your facts.
I think honestly, like we've been saying for a while, it looks like it's gonna be a civil war. Maybe not like as physical as it was back then. The last time the Capitol got stormed, you know.
I mean, I hope there's someone that will be able to step up. Like, as a country, we need to have those conversations.
And it's like the Confederate flag is back.
Sadly, like you pointed it out, like the Confederate flag has never flew in the Capitol.
The last time it was a civil war.
In 2020, son, it did, son. In 2020, it did not. Even during the Civil War, they were not able to penetrate the Capitol, man. Yeah, even during the Civil War, so it didn't. But in 2020, son, it did.
Everybody was home on COVID. So that's the real word. We thank you for tuning in today. We thank you for all of your support. You can check us out on our website. It's www.therealwordministriesinc.org. That's therealwordministriesinc.org. At The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. That's The Real Word Ministries Inc. on Instagram. Catch us on Soundcloud, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and even Pandora. The Real Word Podcast. That's The Real Word Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We say a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for everything. We thank you for your blessings. We ask for a blessing upon everybody that has been watching. Help us to continue to do your work. In Yeshua the Son, we praise the Holy Father. Amen.
See y'all next week.
It's old school, so we gotta get up and shut the camera off.
Later.
We see y'all.
See y'all next week.
It's the real word. It's the real